beautiful morning to you, wherever you're watching us. This is SuperScreen News at 10. I am Olamide Onwuka. The Senate President, Bukola Saraki, says the prompt passage of Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit by the National Assembly will facilitate the country's readmission into the Egmont groups rather than being expelled. The Senate President disclosed this following the adoption of the Conference Committee report on the NFIU by the Senate. Saraki said the bill, when assented, will make the NFIU an independent entity and also help the country in the fight against corruption. According to the amended act, the NFIU will now be domiciled with the Central Bank of Nigeria instead of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, a situation that led Nigeria's suspension from Egmont's group. After suspending Nigeria, the Egmont Group had demanded that the NFIU should be pulled out of the ESCC, amongst other requirements. The Senate has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to review his position on withholding assent in the bill establishing the Peace Corps of Nigeria. This followed the adoption of a point of order raised by Senator Dino Melaye during Wednesday's plenary session. Relying on the Senate rules, Melaye urged the Senate to revisit the bill with a view to veto the President if he fails to rescind his rejection of the bill. And to other stories now, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Buratai, has called on the general public to make security a collective responsibility in order to make the country safe for all. Buratai made the call during a visit to the headquarters of the 6th Division Nigerian Army in Port Harcourt to commission some of the projects initiated by the division. Details in this report. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Buratai, called on Nigerians to support the armed forces in security situations in the country. He said this during a visit to Port Harcourt at the Nigerian Army 6th Division headquarters, where he commissioned some blocks of officers.
Officers and indeed commanders always contribute their quotas towards the development of their formations wherever they are deployed.
The Army Chief stressed the need for the cooperation, saying it is safer when there is a good understanding between the masses and the armed forces. He charged the people to always contribute their quota towards the development of the nation.
It's the responsibility of everybody to join hands to know that it is not entirely a military responsibility.
On his part, General Officer commanding the 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Musa Yusuf, said some of the projects commissioned will address the challenges of shortage of officers in the division, thereby boosting the morale of personnel.
This division is the youngest formation of the Nigerian Army established in the course of implementing the Nigerian Army Order of Battle 2016. Since its operationalization in 2017, the division has tried to surmount the insecurity challenges in the region in collaboration with sister services and other security agencies.
Part of the projects commissioned was the twin building of the division, the mascot house, hospital, amongst others. Now, vivid reactions have trailed the hate speech bill with the punishment of death sentence that passed second reading at the Senate. A cross-section of Nigerians who spoke to SuperScreen on the bill expressed controversial views. More details in this report. Hate speech is any speech that attacks a person or group on the basis of attributes such as race, religion, ethnic origins, sexual orientation, disability, or gender. Today in Nigeria, the present administration under President Muhammadu Buhari has frowned against any speech that attacks the sovereignty of the nation, which they have termed hate speech. Following this, the Senate is also considering passing the hate speech bill, which attracts death penalty for anyone found guilty. Reacting on this development, these Nigerians describe the bill as being controversial.
We should be very, very careful about such bills, because if the government wants to target any particular person that might want to criticize it one way or the other, they could use such speech against whatever anybody says against him. If you are unnecessarily, without any justifiable reason, criticizing the government for the purpose of pulling down that government, I think the bill will go, if the bill goes through, it will be okay. So there must be a balancing.
The hate speech bill is a right decision, is in the right direction. And I say this because in a world that is already filled with hate, if you allow people to fester hate and bitterness using all kinds of hate speech and slogan, it's like you are setting the place up for an explosion.
The hate speech is a DOA. It's dead on arrival. Because to whom will it be directed? Hate speech is, there's no way you campaign without you using some certain languages. Okay? And to the other people, they might term that as hate speech just to get to you. Okay? I, for one, does not believe we need that now.
Worthy of note is that the hate speech bill has passed through second reading at the Senate, raising fears amongst Nigerians. These legal practitioners and Nigerians share their views on the development, especially as regards to the constitutional rights of the Nigerian citizens.
Speeches that actually will cause about unwarranted statements in the society that will bring about the death or the destruction of properties, like maybe I hate you, I don't like Igbo, I don't like Yoruba, I don't like Hausa. Those kind of things actually should be contained.
When you pass a law that you cannot properly implement, then you have not done anything. Law itself is an instrument of social engineering. Correction. What is the aim of implementing a particular law? Do you want to correct people or you want to oppress the people? A person who has filed against the law, such as hate speech, should be prosecuted, no doubt, if it becomes law, if the bill finally becomes law. But I don't think death penalty is right. I think it's too much.
They should direct the death sentence to anti-corruption drive. Maybe that can work in there, not on speeches. We have humongous problems on our hands that should be affixed to, not hate speeches or whatever.
For the hate speech bill to be passed into law, President Muhammadu Buhari must assent the bill, and if it does, it will mean a defining moment on whether Nigeria is practicing true democracy or not. And the Federal High Court in Abuja has sentenced Chris Charles Oka and Bill Obi-Nwabweze to life imprisonment for the 2010 explosions in Abuja and Warri. Justice Gabriel Kolawole, in the judgment that lasted about 6 hours, held that the prosecution proved its case against the two defendants and the 5-count charges. Oka and Nwabweze were charged with financing and actual participation in the act of terrorism in relation to the March 15, 2010 bomb blast in Government House, Amnex, and Warri Delta State, and a similar blast on October 1, 2010 at the Eagle Square in Abuja. The judge rejected the plea for mercy by lawyers to the defendants and insisted that they must be subjected to the maximum sentence prescribed under the Section 15, subsection 1 and Section 2 of the Economic and Financial Commission Act. A former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshomole, says the federal government's proposal to implement a new minimum wage is not a political trick to win the 2019 general elections. Oshomole disclosed this in an interview with journalists and said the government will begin implementation of workers' minimum wage by the third quarter of 2018. Oshomole, who is also a former president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, said the government's pronouncement on the minimum wage is only about a political will. The Zamfara State Governor and Chairman of Nigeria's Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari, has called for a comprehensive reform of the Nigerian police force to address the various security threats in the country. Yari made this call when he received the Senate Ad hoc Committee on Security Infrastructure in the state on a mission to conduct an on-the-spot assessment of the killings that recently occurred in the state. He thanked the committee for the visit and for taking steps to assess the situation in the state.
The truth of the matter, what I realized, my stewardship 7 years plus to now, the challenge of security is lack of equipment. That's the fact. Because even this local bandit, don't forget about Boko Haram, who are then trying their other source of getting equipment international. Even these local that are selling their cows and get equipment, they are getting more sophisticated with them than some of our police. The situation of the security is an unfortunate situation, but I believe the government on site, federal government, and even the local government are putting in their best to ensure that we have a better place to live and control the issue of abducting, cultural sin, and by extension the banditry. So all of us, both the federal government, state and local governments, we are putting in our best to ensure that we're out of where we are. But having said this, as leaders, it's our responsibility.
The chairman of the committee, Ahmad Lawan, said the committee is in the state to review the crisis at hand and then called for the empowerment of security agencies in the states across the country.
Your Excellency, without taking any more of your time, we need to empower our security agencies at the appropriate time as soon as we agree with the kind of structure that we should have. But it is very important that we continue to emphasize that we in the legislature will continue to give every possible support to our President and the Executive General, because we need to work together for us to achieve the kind of results.
And to other stories now, truck drivers has been given a 48-hour deadline to clear off Lagos bridges. The military and the state government issued the ultimatum during a stakeholders meeting at the Apapa headquarters of the Western Naval Command. At the meeting, where the flag officer commanding Sylvanus Abba, the permanent secretary of Lagos State Ministry of Transport, Taiwo Salao, Commander, 9th Brigade, Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Atiku Atu, the base commander, Nigerian Air Force, and Air Commodore Mike Olatunji, amongst others. Rear Admiral Abba said the truck's presence on the bridges constituted a security risk and also a cause of huge traffic congestion, adding that they could be easy targets for terrorists. The FOC warned that the bridges could collapse because of the static weight they had been forced to carry for over a decade. And a member of the 7th House of Representatives, Okpeyemi Bamidele, has joined the 2018 governorship race in Ekiti State. Bamidele declared his intention at the All Progressives Congress and the State Secretariat in Ado-Ekiti. Bamidele said he and other APC leaders, including a former Ekiti State Governor, Kayode Fayemi, and Senator Babafemi Ojudu, were working round to ensure the party wins the July 14 governorship election. Now, student union should not be an avenue to practice hooliganism in our institution. Chairman of Unilag Alumni Association, Lukman Adeoti, expressed this view in an interview with SuperScreen at a forum to declare open their 2018 Alumni Week.
Non-Academic Staff Union, ASU, and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University, SANU, at the University of Lagos, Unilag, have their demands for the payments of their entitlements from the federal government. Reacting to these developments, Chairman of the Unilag Alumni Association, Lukman Adeoti, at this forum to declare open the 2018 Alumni Week, said the unions are fighting a just cause but appeals to them to embrace dialogue.
What they are asking for, to the best of my knowledge, is legitimate. But their post, I would say that must be reviewed. And you further ask this question, that as an alumni, what have we done? Well, here, right in this hall, we have NAS members are here. Alumni, I they honor us, and that is now why, to some extent now, we enjoy relative peace here on campus.
Speaking with SuperScreen TV, Adeoti decried the practice of hooliganism by students' union members, which, according to him, should be done in a non-violent way.
There is no government that will encourage hooliganism. So by the time they come with ideas, and we believe that people with ideas are the people that can move the nation forward. So, and it's a training ground. That student union, it should be a training ground for leadership in the future. But embarking on destruction or illegalism, that is I equally condemn that act. But I will encourage government and the university administrator to always allow student union ESCO.
Other alumni executives bear in their mind on development and projects to be carried out.
We have entrepreneurship where we employ these graduate students into the university to empower them. I'm actually using this opportunity to ask the students that finish from here, or even not only new students, everyone that's finished from here that don't have a job, you can actually contact us right now because we have a lot of programs from undergraduates to come in under the entrepreneurship. We also empower them.
The thing about the Alumni Association is a collective effort. I want to encourage you, those of us that are privileged to be supporting our association, to please go out and be evangelists of the Alumni Association. I can't think of a brand that is better and bigger in any association that you talk about in Nigeria today than the University of Lagos Alumni Association.
The Alumni Association is one that supports the university for the purpose of forging ahead in development.
Greatest of the greatest of the greatest Africa.
The Joint Admission and Matriculations Board, JAMB, says it will not release the 2018 Unified Tertiary Matriculations Examination results immediately. The examination is scheduled to begin on Friday, March 9th to March the 17th. The registrar of the board, Ishak Oloyede, disclosed this during a press conference titled Conduct of the 2018 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination in Abuja. Oloyede said reason for the delay in releasing the results is to review the activities of the candidates and to minimize the numbers of cancellations. You're still watching SuperScreen News at 10. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll take some business stories. To stay with us.
Before they come, they're supposed to, give us some information, notice. At least maybe a week or so. There was nothing like that.
Hunger is everywhere in Nigeria. People are dying every day, but Nigeria government are keeping quiet. Housemen are killing people. Why?
It's not what we expected because of these old men that are leading us, and you people know, you are aware that these people are not the right people to lead us. These kind of people that are leading us here.
Then after some time, we start enjoying it.
The way they are doing the construction is too slow. It's too slow. The construction is too slow. They should stop the construction and make sure people go into their businesses and do their businesses.
Welcome back. And now for some business.